Welcome to one of my videos. Thank you for joining. I will be going over a highlight on my Instagram of chakras. First, I go over Ram Dass and other techniques and methods, and then we go in more depth over it. The chakra system works within the energy framework of our bodies. Although the chakras themselves are operating at the astral level, they express themselves through our bodies' energy patterns. Traditionally, there are said to be 7 chakras, starting with the Muladhara at the base of the spine and ending with the Sahasrara at the crown of the head. The chakras aren't physical forms, they're more like foci of energy. They're located along the Shushmana, which is a kind of astral level spinal cord. The Sushumna is said to run down the center of the spinal column, but it isn't something you would find on an X-ray. In the same way, the Ida and the Pingala are the nerves of the system running along the Sushumna, but they aren't nerves. You could dissect it in an anatomy class. These are all astral entities. The energy which moves through the Sushumna is known as Kundalini, which literally translates she who is coiled. Kundalini energy is visualized as a coiled serpent which resides at the base of the spine until something in our practices or something in the course of our evolution causes it to begin to uncoil and to rise up the Sushumna. As it does, it encounters each of the chakras. Lord Ganesha is said to be, in Hinduism, seated at the root chakra and repeat his mantra Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, says to invoke that energy upwards. So you can practice that method as well if you want. A little secret with that. Where was I? The first chakra, the Muladhara, which is at the base of the spine, halfway between the anal sphincter and the genitals, is primarily connected with the survival functions. The second chakra, Svadhisthana, is the second chakra, sexual chakra. The third chakra, which is called Manipura, is located in the area around the midsection. At the solar plexus, it's thought to be connected with expressions of ego power. The fourth chakra is called the Anatta, or the heart chakra, and it's related to compassion. The fifth chakra, the Vishuddha, located in the throat, is connected with the turning inward towards God, and therefore with the development of the true voice, the divine sound speaking through us. The sixth chakra, which is the Ajna, is located in the center of the forehead. It is usually called the third eye chakra, and it is connected with the inner guru and the higher wisdom. And finally, the seventh chakra, the Sahasrara, at the crown of the head, is the thousand-petaled lotus, enlightenment, the merging into Brahman. As the Kundalini energy uncoils itself up the spine, it passes through each of those chakras in turn. Through the focus of each form of energy, the Kundalini radiates out from the Sushumna at each chakra level, and it energizes or activates each of those physical, psychological energy fields. But if as the Kundalini begins to rise, it comes to a center which is blocked, the energy will emerge as some form of behavior. It's like water going up a tube. If it gets to a crimp in the tube, it cannot go up any further. Say the second chakra, the name for the second chakra, the sexual chakra, translates as her favorite resort, referring to the Kundalini. It's sort of like the Rivera of the chakra world. The Kundalini gets there and decides to hang out and vacation for a while, or maybe it manages to dodge that soul. But then it gets to the third chakra and it gets grabbed by all the ego's powers, needs, and it can't go any further. In the real world, the process isn't as neat and orderly as all that makes it sounds. However, it's not like you finish with the first chakra and now you go on to the second. You finish with the second and go on to the third and so on. Everybody's got a little of everything going on all the time. More blocked in this chakra, less blocked in that one. As you get more sophisticated about the chakra systems, you begin to assess your own predicament in terms of the movement of the Kundalini. You'll say, well, a lot of my energy is still tied up in my second chakra, but my fourth chakra is beginning to open. I've worked some with the energies of the chakra system, and sometimes when I'm sitting and talking to somebody, suddenly what I see is a living chakra chart. Right there in front of me, I see the various chakras all sending out energy, bzz, 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 like less, or power, 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 or compassion, compassion, compassion. Or maybe I'll see that nothing's coming through the heart chakra, but the third eye is like a headlight beam. The Kundalini gets awakened in many different ways. Swami Mukananda had the capacity to give Shaktipati a direct hit of energy that would awaken the Kundalini. It would have the strangest effects on people. We continue. I have a quote that's on my highlight. No one passes by. The only ones who visit are the drifting clouds. Further clarification. Here's another way of stating your predicament. You have some activity going on in the first four chakra centers: survival, sex, power, and compassionate oneness with other beings, all bid as motivators of your perceptions and behaviors. If all of your energy were localized in the second chakra, for example, your life would be relatively simple. You would be primarily motivated and preoccupied with sexual gratification. You would notice and be attracted to possible sexual partners, and your actions with these people would all be directed towards sexual gratification. If your energy were all localized in the third chakra, then it would still be simple, all power. You would see each person only in terms of whether that person could be used to enhance your ego. You would experience fear and hatred of those who held power over you. Your behavior would be subservient or officious. You would be unable to see another human being as a peer, but only as a superior or inferior to you in one dimension or another. In those dimensions where you are equal, you will not notice the other person. If you had crossed the first great barrier between the third and fourth chakras so completely that all your energy were localized in the fourth chakra, then you would experience only the compassionate feelings of brotherhood of the spirit with all other beings. Whether in a sexual embrace or in a business or social contact, the only feeling towards the other person would be one of usness, of brotherhood. Since you would no longer have any investment in yourself as a separate entity, all of your actions would be in perfect harmony with all the forces acting in the field at that moment. You would be living in the Tao. But your predicament is that you are simultaneously involved in all these chakras. So if you try to seduce someone as if the second chakra is what it's all about, you suddenly find your sexual desires fluctuating as you experience waves of compassionate love interspersed with lust. Or if you join with someone in prayer or singing the praises of God, you become aware of sexual desires towards that person or desires to control him. Many of the relationships to spiritual teachers have components of power and sex in them. At the outset, it is necessary to acknowledge where you are in your development. All of these forces are present. Denial will not help. What will help? As you come to understand fully that you will be finished with human suffering only when you are living in the fourth chakra or higher, and you become strongly committed to getting on with it, then the method is straightforward. Keep converting every relationship into one of compassion. Keep a compassionate model upmost in your consciousness at all times. Every time you slip back into one of the lower chakras, don't pity yourself or damage yourself or damn yourself. Merely redefine the situation in terms of the fourth chakra, in terms of the compassionate love for all beings. If you find you are in a relationship with someone which is gratifying to him, you, because of the power you have over them, consider that you and he are both manifestations of the one. Look him in the eye until you both see clearly where power stops and where love begins. Once you have seen through that veil, then you have transmuted the energy from the third to the fourth chakra. This is the divine work, making the profane sacred. What is the risk? By working with energies associated with the lower chakras, you are arousing all the habits which keep you stuck in those chakras. If your will is not strong enough, your desire to get on with it, that is, you may end up just strengthening the illusion, increasing your karma. The safest strategy is to keep as far away from the fires of the lower chakras as possible. But when you have to get near them, then transmute the energy. The riskiest strategy is to seek out stimuli which arouse the lower chakra energies and then attempt to transmute those energies. Keep in mind that the most people who attempt this high risk strategy stay caught in the illusion of separateness for their entire lifetime. Focus on the upper chakras, be diligent, but if it comes with not creating karma for yourself, but taking on others, giving it up to God completely, or honoring a certain predicament but not being caught in it, you convert and transmute that energy of them. Let's say if someone was sexual, you bring it up to a loving space. Or instead of being lustful, masturbating, you bring it up. Like in making love, like in tantric sex. Consecrate it all. Between these two extremes is the path that most Westerners who are on the path follow. They design their life in such a way as not to be inundated by stimuli connected with the lower chakras. At the same time, they do not avoid such stimuli. When one comes along, they do their best to transmute the energy. They accept their own limitations, feel no guilt about getting caught again. Yet slowly and gently, they learn to transmute the energy. This is the middle path, living life joyfully and as consciously as possible. Be completely drunk. Go in depth. Fall more and more and more in love with the higher states of consciousness in the higher chakras. Be preoccupied with your sadhana practice to where you don't have time to fall and get caught in the lower. The chakras operate on the astral level and express themselves through our bodies, which are just energy patterns. We only need to work with the 4 higher chakras, and it's all about opening the heart and quieting the mind to merge with pure light, Brahman, aka enlightenment, open, compassion, love, and that leads you up to turning in on God, and that goes up to clarity of mind, the quieting down, and that goes up to Brahman, enlightenment. And through working with those in that way, you stay merged as Brahman, the non-dualistic, peaceful, content, still true self. Everything in life is worked through the chakras, and now this is my method. In my practice, to keep my third eye open, the Ajna, and to awaken it is to see the oneness before I see the separation. To see the oneness before I see the separation. And if I'm caught, I remember and return to a higher space of being, such as in lust. You're not lustful if you think about and see the inner caca and kidneys and white lumps and stuff in organs. Just think about that. Transmute the energy. Don't look at surface. See source. See the person's soul. See yourself looking at yourself. Looking back at yourself. Again. Don't see surface. See source. Then there's a power mantra I go over for the third eye. Thou dost say, I am away, but thou didst not come in. That is why thou dost say, I am away. I am always in. Come in and thou wilt see me. I am always here, ready to greet thee. That's God. Working with the chakras, from the heart chakra, I see love is the same place as pure awareness. So you go up from the heart to the heart mind to pure awareness in the third eye, and that awareness is the consciousness of the one in such a way that the one can see itself as the one in many. And that will bring you to being the one instead of seeing yourself. You go from impersonal awareness to impersonal consciousness that isn't aware because it need not be and cannot be when it is. And that's the crown chakra, which is love, is oneness, joy, is 0 point in the many divine still qualities of the one God. I merge using a mantra, I am loving awareness. You can say the crown chakra is God, is the merging of God, and is impersonal pure consciousness where you just are that. And when you are that, stay with that. Don't go down into lower chakras and go from God again. Don't be reborn because of desires, thoughts, and ego. Stay in that spaciousness. Okay, that's all the methods and practices. And I'm sure you know the mantras, the basic mantras. But that is in depth. Hope this was beneficial. Join me in the next video, which is about the chakras when it comes to Hinduism with Shiva and Parvati. Them in relation to chakras and stories and stuff. Ram Ram.